So here with us is Dr. Alexander Mohr, an expert in the Eurozone. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the program.
Welcome to the program.
Yes.
So before we get to the first question, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to
Sure.
you too.
So what is your thought about the euro currency celebrations as it's taken place?
Well, I think one should not forget that the European model and having a euro in the Eurozone is so far seen largely as a very successful model. It's now 10 years. The euro has been quite strong. And a lot of citizens in Europe actually enjoy the euro very much as they can travel abroad, they can use the same currency in all the European countries that joined the Eurozone. And therefore it's also an emotional thing for a lot of people as it shows, kind of reflects a European Union identity and being able to share a currency among each other without exchanging currencies when you leave the country to one of the neighboring countries.
Right.
And what's the latest development so far as both leaders, German leaders and French President Nicolas Sarkozy are tackling the problem very hard, right? And what would be the strategies, to bring the unity among them?
Well, that's a very good but a very difficult question at the same time. I think at the moment the European Union leaders, and you mentioned Sarkozy and Angela Merkel as maybe the most prominent ones trying to tackling the crisis, they are trying everything that is possible to bring stability back to the markets so that markets are trusting the Eurozone, that it is a sustainable, financially sound system where it's possible to invest in the future. Of course, Sarkozy and Merkel at the same time are also doomed to save the Eurozone. Germany is a very export-orientated market. That means it tries to sell its products to the world. It therefore is interested in stability in the currency. At the same time, it's very important for France and Germany to export their products within the Eurozone and abroad. So therefore stability is the main issue for the moment, and to enhance the cooperation further, there is now the idea to bring in an economic government at the Eurozone where which should lead to more financial integration, which maybe is the road to go and which is the path to solve the European Union crisis in total.
Yeah, so how about China? Well, despite its aggressive role playing with the US, how about China and Europe? Do you think China can bail out Europe?
I personally think it's becoming now increasingly unlikely that China is going to bail out the euro. China itself has a huge deficit, huge debts, and there are signs that the that the Chinese economy is slowing down a little bit, so it's becoming a little bit more difficult. But I think what China will do in the future is it will strategically invest in the Eurozone. We see that already they are, for example, Greece, which is in deep financial trouble. The port of Athens, part of it is now owned by the Chinese, and I think this will continue. China will look at the opportunities in Europe and it will invest and therefore indirectly help the national economies and the Eurozone as well.
And talking about the weaker economies like Portugal, Greece, or Spain, Italy, what will be that prospects?
Well, nobody knows at this very moment. That depends on the economic development in total in 2012. I think every single country has to be seen as a case for itself. When we speak about Greece, where the whole crisis has started and became most visible, I think it's a different case than Italy or Spain, for example. For Greece, the situation is very dramatic, it's very careful, and of course there are scenarios played along. Will Greece leave the Eurozone to recover and then may join back at a later point as one of the options, or will it stay within the Eurozone and it will be kind of tried to take care of by the other European Union countries? However, for Spain, Italy, and Portugal, in my opinion, I'm more positive about it. If you see Italy announce a lot of measures to trying to get the budget back into a balance. In Spain, you have a new government. In Italy, you have a new government. So there are certain developments. What is interesting in all this, that the financial crisis now at this very point already led to a change in a lot of governments. We're talking here about, well, Greece has a new government, Italy has a new government, in Spain the Conservatives are back into power since December. So there are a lot of, the crisis already led to a lot of political change and therefore economic reforms at the same time.
Right, so any significant role of England playing in this Eurozone debt crisis in the year to come?
That's also a very difficult question to answer in a short way. I think in the short term, this was a public stunt by the UK government, by the Conservatives, which had in the government different opinions about in which direction the UK should go in the context of the European Union to a closer integration or to take a step back. So therefore it depends a little bit on national politics in the UK in which direction the UK will go. With their veto of a treaty change in last month, it cannot be foreseen what the outcome, what the result will be of this no to a treaty change. I think the European Union will move on nonetheless, and the European Union, the fiscal union, will go further. However, the UK still has the pound; it's not part of the Eurozone, so therefore it remains to be seen what the role of the UK in the future in the concert of the European Union member states will be.
Okay, back to weaker economies like Portuguese, Spain, Italy. In your opinion, what will be their credit rating outlook in 2012?
I think credit rating outlooks depend largely on if the credit rating agencies believe in reforms and in a way forward of the national policies. If there are reforms in the national policies, then the rating agencies tend to trust those. They assess the reforms and then see if they give a high credit rating to the countries. So therefore, it depends largely on what the countries deliver. If you see Italy as an example, Italy already announced a lot of political reforms, a lot of economic reforms, and trying to get its house in order, so to say. So therefore, I'm personally very positive about Italy's development at the moment. It also depends on how much money they can raise on the markets, but it all depends on reforms. If the countries deliver those reforms, then of course the credit ratings will go up.
Okay, in your opinion, what will be the roadmap for the Eurozone in probably the next few weeks or in January, I would say?
It depends a little bit on how the markets will develop and the political leadership will react to it. These two elements are crucial to see what will happen. From a structural roadmap for the next weeks, you mentioned earlier already that Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, and Sarkozy, the French President, are going to meet on the 9th of January, where I think the next steps forward will be discussed. Most importantly is the 30th of January this year, where the next EU summit is going to take place, and high on the agenda is, of course, the economic situation at the moment and also the creation of jobs. I don't know how they want to balance that out, because creation of jobs normally means a lot of investment, which is unlikely to happen at this very moment. However, the economic situation is high on the agenda, so mark it in your diary. The 30th of January will be a very important date for the Eurozone and the European Union in total.
All right, so we have to wait and see after January what will happen.
Yes.
All right, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohr.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
And now we will take a short break, and we will have more updates on the ASEAN economies.